Hey everybody, it's July 5th where I'm doing this in the United States, the day after our July 4th holiday. So happy 4th of July, happy birthday America. But, I've got quite a collection of guitars now, somewhat inspired by this YouTube channel and also just several I've owned for years, going back and picked up along the way. But I've got out my Highway 1. This is a great guitar. It's a 2007 HSS Highway 1. It's a very nice guitar, but it kind of reminded me of Brownie. Not Blackie, unfortunately, but Brownie. And I decided to play in its entirety this album Backless, maybe give a little lesson, as it were. Not not a breakdown of every little riff and every, all the little nuances of the great playing that is on this album. But it's kind of the gist of all these great songs and how you can play them. And just let me say as a preface, I really like this album. I was watching John Heaton getting ready for this. He has a good channel. And he mentioned this might be his favorite Eric Clapton album. I might agree. But my favorite period of Clapton is the 70s. I love the 60s stuff. I feel like it's almost apples and oranges, but like Cream and Blues Breakers and some, when he was playing at Gibson, that's great. But it is kind of apples and oranges. But of all his, that's not solo career Eric Clapton, but of Eric Clapton's solo career, these 70s albums are my favorite. And this is maybe my one of, I don't know, I'd hate No Reason to Cry is also a really good album. All those 70s albums are good. They sometimes didn't get the respect they deserve, I don't think. But this was the last album he did with that Tulsa band. With Carl Rattle, Jamie Oldacre, and Dick Sims. And it's just a super good album. Patty Boyd took that picture right there. And this was right after he married Patty Boyd. So, he came out of his wilderness period hiatus with 461 Ocean Boulevard, which was kind of began this string of 70s albums. This I would regard as the last of that string of really good 70s albums that had that Tulsa band. But he married Patty Boyd right around the time Slow Hand came out, which is the predecessor album to this. And Patty Boyd took that picture. So these were kind of the Patty Boyd years. I think pretty good years with Patty Boyd. You see Carl Rattle up there. I don't want to say their names wrong. That might be Chris Stanton. There's some good piano on this. That might be Chris Stanton. I know he started playing with Chris Stanton around this time. And I'm not going to look at the credits here because I'm kind of perched with my Strat out on my lap. But super good album. And in his autobiography, he says he doesn't really like this album that much. He thinks it's a shambles or something like that. He said that about No Reason to Cry. And Slow Hand is the album of that period that often gets really praised. And 461, I would say, this period. Those are the two albums that tend to get the highest critics' reviews. But this might be my favorite album. It's got some really good playing on it. It's pretty laid back. And something else? You might say it's sloppy. But I don't like the word sloppy, but some people might say it's sloppy. But it's not sloppy. Like, you don't hear like bad notes or anything. It's not sloppy in that way. But you know what it is? It's like a good Stones album. It's loose. I always feel like, there's probably a case of beer behind the amps or something. They're just playing away. By this time, even though he was still a young man, he seems young to me. When I was a kid, I had this album and he didn't seem that way. But now I look at him, he's 30 years old there, a couple maybe early 30s, but in the prime of his life, but just kind of laid back, but a veteran. This band was like a veteran band, and they just kind of take songs and play them, and they would sound great. So I won't use the word sloppy because it's not sloppy playing. The playing's too good on it to be sloppy, but it's laid back, it's loose, and it's kind of in the moment. A lot of them. It's also got a couple good Dylan songs on it. Walk Out in the Rain, and let me see. Yeah, Walk Out in the Rain and If I Don't Be There by Morning are two good Dylan songs. And of course, on the album a little before this, No Reason to Cry does Sign Language, which is another good Dylan song. And I guess he had done some stuff with Dylan. What did he do with Dylan? But anyway, he and Dylan kind of traded favors for one another, and Dylan had given him a cassette with some unreleased Dylan originals, and I guess these are two, and then that Sign Language is another one. But this is a really good album. I've grown up with this album. This is my high school copy, so I've had this album a long time. It's got a great cover. I was watching John Heaton. I've talked about this album before on this channel. You'll see me talk about it. But John Heaton, I like his channel, and he was mentioning that photo, and he's wearing the scarf of a soccer team. Mr. Heaton seemed to know exactly what that was. I don't. I'm not that familiar with English soccer, but it's some soccer football team that Eric Clapton apparently likes or liked in this period. Super. But I'm just going to play it. I'm going to set it out here, and I'm going to play these how I play them. And so this is not, here's how you play just like Eric Clapton. By the way, if you figure out how to do that, post a lesson. I'll be the first to sign up for your lessons if you figure out how to play it just like Eric Clapton. But this is kind of the gist of these songs, and maybe how I play them. But this is one I used to do, and I think I used to do it in a different key. But it's that one of those Dylan songs on the album. And this is the first song on the album, Walk Out in the Rain. And it's just D and G. That's good Dylan too. See, it's a simple progression, but it kind of catches you off guard rhythmically. And then the lead. So it's just D, and it's super. It's what I mean. It's laid back, but it's not sloppy. But it's laid back and it's loose. You got good players. Oh, walk out if it doesn't feel right. I can tell you're only lying if you got something better. Mess up my mind with your trying, and that's what I mean. It's kind of it's a little bit countrified, but put in some of those old rock and roll rhythms when you can be, and play it on electric guitar. Just walk out in the rain, walk out in your dreams, walk out of my life if you don't feel right. Oh, catch the next train, oh darling, walk out in the rain. That's a verse. Oh, I have come from so far away. You can do it in open chords. Just to put a ring on your finger. You can play with cowboy chords. Please don't feel the need to linger. Just walk out in the rain. Walk out of my life, walk out of my life. If you don't feel right, catch the next train. Oh, darling, walk out in the rain. Got those little. And then the last verse is, it's raining outside of the city. My poor feet have walked till they're sore. My love, it's a pity. I don't think I can sing you no more. Just walk out of the trees, walk out of the trees, walk out of my life. If you don't feel right, catch the next train. Oh, darling, walk out in the rain. In the rain. And these songs all lend themselves to great playing, great soloing. In fact, if I had a criticism of this album, it would be it's got such a good feel, a good sound, and I think the songs on here, for the most part, are very catchy, kind of toe-tapping, they sound familiar right away type songs. You know those songs you've maybe never heard before, but right away it sounds like you have. They're just kind of a familiar song. But every time it gets going, a lot of times it's on the fade out, and they fade it out. So in concert, they would definitely play these out. But that's Walk Out in the Rain. All right, this next song on the album was Watch Out for Lucy, which I think is my favorite song on the album. Might be one of my favorite Clapton songs. Might be one of my favorite songs. I've played it a lot. I've been playing this song since I was a kid, like 19 years old. I played it in G, and I actually noticed on some of the chord versions will have it in G. To me, G is a good acoustic guitar key, and the chording kind of I played it on G. It kind of has that old kind of Dixieland pub, old school pub sing along type feel. A's got that kind of shuffle feel and I like, you can play it in either one, but when I play it, the record key is an A, but that goes great with like a walking bass. You got Duck Dunn or Colorado walking that bass around, and you've got like some nice piano organ, a good drummer, then A works out great. Although you do have all those old bar chords, so it is a workout for bar chords to play it in A. I guess you could play it down here, but to me, you know, a lot of those Eric Clapton 70s albums, it was good kind of rhythm playing, and a lot of it was rock and roll bar chords. You know, a lot of times, which I think is a dying art, rock and roll bar chords. This is a rock and roll bar chord song. Got A, C sharp, F sharp minor, D. My friend is just a working last verse, because there were 3 verses. Satisfied, and you could go honey talk to with his cash in his hand, his heart upon his sleeve. I tried to warn him about her ways, I never did succeed. Watch out for Lucy, let's see, watch out for Lucy. Oh, she may look frail. Said, excuse me, Lucy, darling, don't you use me. I don't want to land in jail. Then it repeats the chorus. Last time we skipped the verse, but and then just a super good guitar solo, which fades out way too quick. Great little progression to jam to. You know, one criticism I would have of this album is it just starts to sound good all the time, and then they fade out. So you got these kind of nice, I would say very catchy songs. Several of them are just really nice, kind of in terms of songs, kind of sing along, tap your toe type songs. And you just get going, and you want Eric Clapton and George Terry's on this album too. You just want them to get going and start playing some good guitar, and then you'll just hear a little bit of it, and then they go out. Maybe that's a production thing. So I guess it would have been a double album if they had a bunch of guitar soloing on every song, but super good, super good. But in G, that would just be G, B, E minor to C. Like to find a girl and get comfortable when his working day is done. Spend all his money on a Friday night, wake up in the morning broke. Had a little London with Lucy then, believe me, that ain't no joke. Watch out for Lucy, so you may look frail. Said, excuse me, Lucy, darling, don't you use me, I don't want to land in G. I like G better. I think when you get a bass, you get a band and you got a good bass. A works pretty good for A's a good rock and roll key, you know. But if you want more of a pub feel, and especially if you have an acoustic guitar, do it in G. This next one, super good song by J.J. Cale. It's one of, well, we know he did a couple, I know for sure 3 classic J.J. Cale Clapton renditions would be After Midnight, Cocaine, and this one, I'll Make Love to You at Any Old Time. And there've probably been some others too, because I know he was on that J.J. Cale tribute album, They Call Me the Breeze. I mean, J.J. Cale did a bunch of great songs. J.J. Cale's one of those guys that you've heard his songs maybe more than you've heard him, because you know, other people would often do his songs and get more credit, get more fame, haven't played on the radio more, but he wrote them, you know. But this is another J.J. Cale song, I'll Make Love to You Any Old Time, and it's a good one. It's a good one. I don't want an A, C. So it's, I play this, you can play it up here, but I like to play it down here with kind of almost like cowboy chords, but more like riffing. But you got A, C, D are the main chords. So it's... That's how I play it anyway. Well, I can't swim and I can't fly, and there ain't no fish in the burning sky. And you go to sea. The song, and just great playing all the way through it. I'll do one more verse. Well, I can't read and I can't write. I can't remember the words off the top of my head. And I don't know my left from right. And I don't. You could almost play, that's like D, you know, D. Skinner. It's kind of, now we're in the key of A. And come up and hit that. Super good song. All right, this next one is Roll It. And you know what? I looked up this one. I don't think, and there aren't very many versions on YouTube of anybody playing this, including Eric Clapton. It's a Marcy Levy song. Kind of reminds me of Get Ready, which is, I think, on 461 Ocean Boulevard, if I'm not mistaken, which was done with Yvonne Elliman. You know, Mr. Clapton was having not only musical, but also, you know, personal relationships with Yvonne Elliman. I think maybe Marcy Levy too, or whatever I read. But anyway, each of them got like a writing credit. This is a Marcy Levy song, and it's pretty much just A, G, levee just kind of in the socket. And it just repeats that, but it's got some really good slide in it. But that's the rhythm part. And you know, I was gonna say it wasn't. You know, I wouldn't say it's the best song on the album, but you know what it does sound? It sounds pretty good, and it's got some of the best. It's got some really good guitar playing on it. And there's a YouTube video of a guy just going down the looked like a coastal stretch of highway with, you know, the ocean on one side. It looks like the Amalfi Coast or maybe the Pacific coast of America or something, but on a motorcycle, and he's playing that song. So apparently some people like it. It's a pretty good, just kind of rolls right along. All right, Tell Me That You Love Me. This is another nice one. And I used to do this in C, although it's better singing. You can do a lot of these. That's how you know they're kind of good songs. They're not so based on the guitar arrangement that you can't kind of do them other ways. But this is... rhythm guitar. And then there are two verses, and then it goes, the bridge is, pick me up, let me know that I'm still in love with you. Be my woman, be my friend, stick with me until the very end. That's your solo, guitar solo. Another one where you would have liked there to have been like a Layla. I think they needed more recreational spirit in the studio, because I think Derek and the Dominoes would have turned that into some glorious 10-minute jam. And we just get a couple minutes of it, but it's such a catchy little tune. Great. Okay, this is If I Don't Be There by Morning. It's one of the standout tracks on the album. Turned off the air conditioning to make this video because it's so loud, and I can tell it's starting to affect my guitar. The strings are getting kind of all soggy, and see that beat bound. down there. So, but when you get a chance, play that rock and roll. You know, I don't hear the guitar playing that. It's in country too. You know, that good old driving beat, boogie beat. So let's try it again. Play it up here. Don't be that. The riff you hear is. So I got a woman waiting for me in LA. I got a woman waiting for my pay. If I was gonna, sometimes you mix them up. You know, one time do it up here, and maybe do it down here sometimes, that E. And if I'm doing it, and if I don't be there by morning, you know that I must have gone the other way. Now right here's the bridge. So here's the bridge. Goes to D sharp minor. I guess you could call that an E flat minor, but we're playing in the key of B with E's and F sharp, so it's the sharps. We're not going to go to flat, so we're going to call it D sharp minor. Sometimes I make my way back to you, girl. Lonesome and blue, mistreated too. Sometimes I think of you, girl. Is it true that you think of me too? That bounce. Yeah, the turning the air conditioning off is playing heck with my guitars, but look at that bridge again, and just really good rock and roll, kind of country rock, I would almost say, but it's got that kind of ragtag Dylan feel, which Clapton's good at too. Like the Stones, kind of ragtag, but not sloppy, never sloppy, but loose ragtag. Laid back, but not always easy. I wouldn't say it's that easy, but it is loose and ragtag. It's not easy. It's maybe easy to them. So I make my way back to you, girl. I make my way back to you, girl. Lonesome and blue, mistreated too. Sometimes I think of you, girl. Is it true that you think of me too? I left my woman with a $20 bill. Back to the album, so you get that good old late 70s rock and roll, laid back rock and roll, 30-something rock and roll. played so well, but we just get a taste of it and then they fade out. And so, okay, Early in the Morning is super easy. That's just a blues song. A lot of slide. When a young girl reaches the age of 18, she begins to think she's grown. And that's the kind of little girl you never find at home, even early in the morning, just about the break of day. You want to see me hug my pillow? My baby used to lay. One drink of wine, one drink of gin, pretty much done got me. Stay by me and come and see me early in the morning, just about the break of day. You want to see me hug my pillow where my baby used to lay? We'll just give it a traditional blues ending. Yeah, just a good old blues song there. A couple people I watched reviews said it shouldn't be on there, but okay, we got Promises. I've done Promises. It's another one I've done since high school. Played it many a time in a bar. And, this is, of course, I've gotten older, so I don't know if you're playing for really, but this is one where I would play this, and there would always be people that recognize it, you know, because when you're playing in a bar, you know, you can play like where I would play, you play album oriented rock, you know, not just a bunch of top 40, but you know, you'd want them to be, you know, pretty familiar good songs, and this is one you could always play that people would recognize. I don't care if you never come home, I don't mind if you just keep on rolling away on a distant sea, 'cause I don't love you and you don't love me. Cause a commotion when you come to town, give them a smile and a mirror, and your lovers and friends, well, it's all good and fine, but I don't like yours and you don't like mine. La 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 la. La 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 la. It's just G. You know, I would say get your picking down for this one. You could finger pick it maybe, but I always use the flat pick. Kind of gentle. But another thing I like about some of these Clapton albums is it's kind of acoustic music, but a lot of it played on electric guitar. Like a lot of these songs we're playing, they all could translate to acoustic pretty well, but they're played on electric and they sound really good. So we'll do the second verse. Cause a commotion when you come to town, give them a smile and they grin, and your lovers and friends, well, it's all good and fine, but I don't like yours and you don't like mine. The lyrics are kind of I got a problem, can you relate? I got a woman calling love, we made a vow we'd always be friends. How could we know that promises end? La 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 la. kind of a bass guitar, but I think it's also electric guitar. I tried, let's see, I don't, but the lyrics are kind of terrible, but I don't care what you do now. Oh, I don't care where you get your life. I'm gonna leave it alone, I'm gonna just let it be. I still love you and you don't love me. I got a problem, can you relate? I got a woman calling love hate. We made a vow we'd always be friends. How could we know that promises end? La, 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 la. Another great fade out that could have been a la, 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 la. La, la. La, 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 la. They keep doing it last fade. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. And it's not really a C chord. You're playing off la, 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 la. Yeah, I guess it is. La, la. Sings. You know, this Highway 1 is a rock and roll beast, but it's the Ultra tunes a little better. That Ultra, that's one thing about it. Okay, Golden Ring. This is the Golden Ring is another song on here that I remember hearing, but not too much. But it's one that Clapton wrote for Patty Boyd when George Harrison remarried Olivia, who's still around today. Of course, George, R.I.P., is gone, but and Patty was kind of blue. You know, it was kind of the door was closed on that part of her life, and she was married to George Harrison of the Beatles, and now she was with Eric Clapton, and they did get married, I believe, in '79, but they were together for several years before they actually officially tied the knot. By the way, their wedding in this period, I think it was in '79, had a bunch of famous. It was like a who's who of '70s rock, and I think all the Beatles were there except Lennon and Yoko Ono. Is that right? Or they might have played. Could have been a Beatles reunion. But anyway, this is he wrote this song. Let's see if I. Though the times song is Tulsa Time. But anyway, this was a song that, and this was kind of Clapton's country period. I remember some people I remember in high school didn't like it. They called him Country Clapton or Laid Back Clapton. And it was a period when, bands like Foghat, Aerosmith, Jay Giles' band were huge. And at least some people that were, really into that maybe would dismiss some of these albums as a little too laid back. But and this was, I remember some people calling him Country Clapton too at this time. And his style in this period, his aesthetic was kind of jeans, kind of, earthy, and his band was from Tulsa. So I kind of, I thought that was great. But I always played Tulsa Time like, he changed it to G. I don't know if it was he liked to sing it better in G or his band liked it better in G, because E's a great slide guitar, and he plays some slide guitar in it, G, I think, gives it kind of that old barrel house feel a little bit more with the slide guitar. But anyway, he does it in G. That's how I play G rock and roll. Well, when I left Oklahoma, driving in my Pontiac, just about to lose my mind. I was on to Arizona, maybe even California, where the people all live so fine. My mama says I'm crazy, my daddy says I'm lazy, but I'm gonna show them all this time. I ain't no fool, I don't need no damn school, gonna just walk the line. Living on Tulsa time, living on Tulsa time. Well, you know that I've been through it, 'cause I said my watchman do it. Living on Tulsa time. And you got, I don't have my slide out, but it's great for slide. But you also got those old Good Time Charlie Chuck Berry licks if you want. Myself anymore. I certainly that was not a performance anyway, but I just wanted to talk. I don't even know if I'm going to use some of that. I was having trouble keeping this guitar in tune, but this is a really underrated album. John Heaton said it was his I think if he didn't say it was his favorite Eric Clapton solo album, I think he said it was the best album he's done ever since. So I think meaning he liked this better than anything he did in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. I kind of agree. I feel that way about all the 60s and 70s Clapton. I feel like this is kind of towards the end of an era. After this, he did another Ticket and Money and Cigarettes. And they were kind of along these lines, but he had a different band. Of course, that was good too. He played with Alvin Lee, a guy named Dave Marquis on bass. And that Just One Night album, which was huge on the radio. I mean, and you heard, and quite a few of these, I would say, on that album were juiced up a little bit and jammed out a little more, but still pretty tight. But then in the 80s, he did Behind the Sun and that was that one he did with Phil Collins, and I think kind of took a little different turn stylistically. I mean, he always played good guitar, did good songs, and those are still good albums. August, Journeyman. But this is kind of the end of an era, I feel like, and he criticized the album himself in his autobiography. I feel like if I would criticize it at all, I just wish we had more of it, because it seems like sometimes we're just getting going on some of these great kind of singable kind of rhythms. It's got such good rhythm guitar playing on it, and the leads are always so nice and in the pocket of all that great rhythm playing. But you always just get going, and then it fades out or cuts off, or there's a new song. And so I wish we could have maybe combined this a little bit with some of the Derek and the Dominoes approach, where you get some more, a little more freewheeling jamming along with great songs, which was the secret sauce for Derek and the Dominoes. Great songs, and just a little bit less restrictive playing, some sections where they would really kind of let Mr. Clapton go to town, and others too, play some more soloings and things. But it's definitely a good album. Definitely, I like it better than Slow Hand. I like it better than 461 Ocean Boulevard. And I don't know about that No Reason to Cry, the one where the band showed up. I think that's how come Clapton and Dylan, that was kind of the impetus for some of the Dylan songs on here. But that No Reason to Cry is also a super good album. I don't know, it's between this and No Reason to Cry are my two favorite 70s Eric Clapton albums. And Eric Clapton in the 70s, to me, is a great artist. Coming out of that wilderness period where he, no one even, in the early 70s, after Derek and the Dominoes kind of crashed and burned, no one even knew where he was sometimes you couldn't even reach him. A lot of people didn't even think he was going to live. And then he came out with 461 Ocean Boulevard, and they're pretty different albums. They're toned down. There's much more of an emphasis on rhythm guitar, which I hope I taught in this. Rhythm guitar. Eric Clapton's these are great rhythm guitar songs, and the leads on them are great too. But don't ever forget, there's some great rhythm guitar playing on this album. But I could use a little bit of the Derek and the Dominoes go for it element a little bit more on this album. That would be my only really significant criticism of it, because I happen to think the songs on here are great and the playing on it is excellent. Thanks. God bless.